summarize it by this visit in the summer when I went to see it. The book for me is the time when I was there, and I encourage you all to go there because it's just simply incredible. The silence there is more, now it has become a little bit more fashionable, that whole area of north of Rome, and there's many people moving there and buying houses and so forth. And so there's a good restaurant now in Bassano. Before there was nothing really. And an Airbnb that is not far away, but you could still feel you have to kind of climb with your car getting there. It's not so easy, it's like a mountain drive. And once you're there, it's perfectly still. And the house is almost as it was when Sai was there. And Sai lived very modestly there. There was no AC there in Bassano Inteverina. He just had a bed, and he had some tapestries that serve the function that tapestries used to serve, which is to make the place cozier and a little bit warmer. And that was it.
Did you see any of the antiquities?
He had some of the antiquities there still, which are fragments, and there's nothing like. There's a sense of austerity. It's hard. This idea, that Judd had of Sai like a sort of decadent, D'Annunzio kind of artist. It's not the way he lived. He was truly monastic in many ways. And this was an amazing building, but it was not, it wasn't in great shape. It was conserved, but, barely. That's what, the way they think about it is we fix the roof and then we fix the windows. That's what they did. And then they changed the interior, so Sai created that beautiful inner courtyard that you see. That's Sai himself walking in the house, and then you see that inner courtyard, which was created basically. So that required, some more production, but there was nothing fancy about it. And you could see that sense of austerity, the silence, and
he's living with the past, really, isn't he?
Yes, he's.
In a way, it's almost a museum that he's living in.
Sai it wasn't a museum in the sense that museums. I think it was much more alive than many museums are. It was maybe like museums should be, but he was. The comment that I made about the past, right? I visited Sai in Villa Valeta, I think it's in Abruzzo. In the last 2 or 3 years of his life, he used to go in the summer to Abruzzo, which are the mountains, again close to Italy. And when I visited him, he took me to a restaurant. He said, "You will love this restaurant." And from the restaurant, you could see a wonderful ballet as well. And he said, "You see in the summer, lamb, the shepherds bring the sheep here, and that this has been happening since Roman times, And when he was telling you about the sheep in the valley and the families, the sheep of the Farnese that would come from Puglia, you would understood that it was a lived experience for him,
And in a way, that in and of itself sort of transcended time. I'm curious how you think that informed the work, right? So, a lot of these works, we talk about linear time, but there's also these depths, right? He would paint white over marks, make marks on top of the white, and really obscure it, which I always understood really to be another kind of time travel. Absolutely. In a way that it's memory that's obscured, memory that is clear or not, hazy or not. And there he is living in very much the same kind of way. So he's really painting his experience.
Absolutely. And memory, there's sort of the erasure of memory and the desire of inscription, right? That's what I was talking about at the beginning, because the 50 days is also about loss, right?
It's also about the memory. It's the memory, by the way, it could be the memory even of reading the poem itself, of the epic.
Yes.
The memory of experiencing it, the memory of being in the land with all the memories.
I think it's all of that. I think it's all of that. in a way, you know, the Iliad is the sort of it's a jumping, you know, that allows him to talk about, you know, something that we lost and desire and memory. And I think that it is a masterpiece because he is able to so eloquently tackle on these topics.
That's why I find that painting so interesting to me, because at the center, when you walk in the room, the first thing that you see are three shades, yeah, and three ghosts of the past that are not related to the narrative itself, because they didn't die at the same time.
Maybe yes, they are ghosts, they're shades,
and that's so this was a show that you then did with, these are the studies of the drawings that relate to the shades of night. What occurred to me when I looked at these pictures in the book, and that's his great sculpture, the Victory sculpture, in front of the drawings, and here is the entire room with 3 of the 5 sculptures that you have there.
Because that's the other, I mean, I don't want to interrupt you. Yeah. But that's the other story, which is...
To me, this is so interesting because you're surrounded by ghosts. I mean, you're really surrounded by memory.
You know, it's interesting the way in which he writes shades. You can also read hades, and of course the shades inhabited the hell. And again, talking about the lexicality of language in Twombly, you always have play upon words, right? He's very conscious about that. But yes, that's a slightly different story, but what I wanted to go back to is, you know, the basic question that I set up to answer in the book is why? And I believe I found a provisionary answer that I'm sure that some scholar in the future are going to say, well, it's wrong, as it usually happens, or maybe not. But I believe the why of these paintings is that I believe that Twombly intended the works to be part of an installation of his own work that would be permanently displayed in New York City. And that Heiner Friedrich from the Dia Foundation was basically going to sponsor. There were early conversations about this as early as the 60s, and there was the scouting for spaces for this place, and there was the identification of a space in Chelsea. The book tells all the story, and then ultimately, at the time when this is becoming more and more of a reality, it just Friedrich, which was one of the founding directors, the founding director, you can say, of Dia, then starts being into a lot of trouble, and he needs to leave the institution, and then his plans basically crumble down. So the room would not be until both Philadelphia devoted this room, and later on Menil devoted an entire building. You know, but obviously for Twombly, this idea of the building, I believe, was very attractive. So is it, the book tries to make a case for it, and the question is, was that the only reason? I don't think so. I think that it was, I'm sure that Twombly there is an internal logic of the work, and this series was part of that. But he had already dealt with the Iliad before, right, in '63. So